Great. You guys can all see?
Yep.
Amazing. Okay, cool. Yeah, hello everybody. Yeah, we've done a lot of work and added a lot of functionality to this app. So I'm going to give you guys kind of an overview of everything. I know that you've already seen a lot of this before. I'm just going to do a general overview so you guys can make note of what's changed, what's available, and get, again, a general sense of the flow of the app now that it's ready to actually go into production. So great. This is the screen that you will get prompted with when you download the app initially. I'm going to log in. I'm going to log in as a new user. And when you log in, you're logging in with your Ptrac credentials. So once this is loaded, it will route me to a Ptrac login screen where I'll just log in. Once you actually have the app on your device and you've logged in, the tablet will remember you and remember that you've logged in. So you won't be prompted with this login screen every time you start it up, unless you guys want some security measures put in place to make that happen. Oh, wrong password. 1 sec. Amazing. So once I've logged in, it will route me to this login screen where you're going to see some messages. So what's actually happening now is it's making a bunch of calls to fetch a bunch of my user credentials and preferences from Ptrac. And it's also going to be downloading, when it says downloading project files, what it's doing is it's downloading all of the required project files that are assigned to me for today. So that will come when you boot up your app in the morning and you sync it. It will download all of those project files that are necessary for any of the inspections that you have routed for yourself for that day. Amazing. Okay. So you can see once that login process is finished, it takes me to my inspection list, which you guys have all seen before. Everything is pretty much the same. All of the filter fields and toggles and whatnot are the same. You can see that my default date and all of the default dates for the inspection list are for today. So today is June 4th, so I have 3 inspections on my docket today. Great, okay. So I'm looking at these and all looks cool, except I don't see the name of the inspection. And if I would like to see the name, that would be a preference that I would have to change in my user preferences, where we talked about before, where we would change our column settings or column order and whatnot. So I'll show you guys, again, I'll just give you a review of how I could change that if I wanted to see what my inspection names are. So I go to my, my main menu. You can see Rosie Elphick in my email, so you can see that you're the user that's logged in currently. And I go to my user preferences. Great. Because I'm looking at my inspection list, I'm going to be setting my list columns. So for example, instead of notes, I'm going to change my, my notes column, and I'm going to change it to, what did I say, inspection name. Great. While I'm here, I'm also going to change my due date to ascending, so I can see all of my due dates in ascending order. Great. Once I'm happy with that, I press save. Great, and if you have internet connectivity, it will update and save your inspector app preferences to Ptrac. So once that's saved, I'll navigate back to my inspection list. Cool, you can see that my due dates are going to be in ascending order, and my inspection names now appear in the third column as we wanted. Cool. So I'm going to be demonstrating, the first inspection I'm going to be demonstrating is this combo inspection that you see here at the top, the frame mechanical, electrical, plumbing combo inspection, because most of the functionality that we've added has been in the actual performing of the inspection utility. I click on my inspection row, and since this is the first time that we're performing this inspection, we see our builder's notes pop up as expected. Cool. We confirm that to dismiss the modal. And for all of our inspections, we'll have 3 tabs. So you can see we have our overview tab, our forms tab, and our files tab. Currently, we're in our overview tab. Again, this is where you see all the general information about the inspection. It's where you set your inspection results, set your hours worked, and it's also where you're going to find the button to trigger a finalize and submission of the inspection. Great. We also have a Forms tab and a Files tab, so I'll go through those new tabs with you now. The Forms tab is where all of the bulk of the information that you're going to be adding to your inspection will live. So in our forms, we have our dynamic fields, digital checklists, and PDF forms. Dynamic fields, which is the current tab selected, is pretty self-explanatory. There'll be any number of checkbox or text inputs. You might notice that even though this is the first time I'm loading this inspection and I haven't added any data, there are some fields filled in for me. So my 2 registration numbers at the bottom. This is because if you have preferences in Ptrac associated with these fields, they will autofill for you here. So in Ptrac, I have these 2 registration numbers saved to my Ptrac preferences. So they'll autofill on app load to save you guys time entering all these registration numbers.
Rosie, let me just
and then all the other checkboxes and inputs work as you would expect. I'm going to indicate area, frame area here, and then I'll say mechanical. Just so you guys have some data to see when we generate our PDF. Great. Now I'm going to move on to the digital checklists. This is the bulk of what you've seen before, the digital checklist, the view. You can see we have 1 digital checklist associated with this inspection. And you can see from the little card that we have 0 previous edits on it. Great. When I click to perform it, we get the view that you guys are pretty familiar with at this point, with our categories, our inspections, and then our place where we can add a deficiency. I'm going to add some deficiencies, again, just so we have some data to work with. There. Again, just to remind you guys that when the PDF actually generates from this data, it gets generated in the order that we enter these notes. So it's meant to replicate when you're walking around your inspection site that they can follow your path with the order that you've entered them. So I'll add another one here. I'll add my second note here. Great, and I'll take a couple pictures to show how that will display. So I have to allow the app to access all of my my photos and my files. Then I get taken to my camera, or I can take a picture of this window that I'm inspecting. Which is great. Okay, and then I can annotate the screen like you guys have all seen before. Great. And then it saves to my to the deficiency. I'll take another one. Maybe more zoomed in on the actual deficiency. again, and I can circle it. And it saves to my tablet. Great. Okay, cool. So we have that data added. I'll add some guys to electrical and plumbing just so we can see how it'll look like in all the different categories. What is this? This is the third note. Great. And then I'll add one for plumbing as well. That's my fourth note. Amazing. Okay, so now that I'm done with my checklist, I've added all of the information that I need to add. I'm going to navigate back. And you can see that our little card, our checklist card, it's been updated, and we now have 4 previous edits on file. That being said, you can go back, edit this again, delete things again. As long as it's an inspection that you're able to perform, you can edit this information. Okay, maybe I'll stop there, maybe, if you guys have any questions at this point, or anything new that I've demonstrated that isn't clear.
I'd like to add, Rosie, guys, when she did those dynamic fields up above, those are only for digital checklists. All right. That information is actually on the editable PDFs, but we had to have a way of adding those to digital forms. So just so you're not confused, the dynamic fields are things you need to look at if you're completing a digital checklist, because that information will get printed on the form on the computer generated PDF. When you're doing editable PDF forms, that information's already on that form. So just to clarify.
Cool. Thanks, Will. Okay, I'll keep going then. Great, so you've gone over dynamic fields, the digital checklists, and now these PDF forms. So these PDF forms are going to be any forms associated with this inspection that you can edit, and then associate those edited PDFs that you want to include with the inspection submission. So the section at the top, these are all of the forms that I have available to fill in. So if I click on one of them, I'll click on this electrical rough checklist.pdf. And what it does is it takes the information from the current logged in user, so me in this instance, and it auto fills the PDF form with my information, as well as the information about the inspection that you're currently performing. So when this PDF loads, you'll see at the top in all of the meta information where, yeah, you can see, great, we have a builder, Pacesetter Homes, we have our address, our city, state, inspector, and the date. So all of that has been auto-filled in for you guys, again, so you don't have to be wasting time typing in information that is already baked into the inspection. Great. So yeah, so once you get your form, you can obviously fill it out and include any information that you want. Just for timing's sake, I'll just give it a pass, and then I'll just fill in a couple of these checkboxes just so we can see some data. Great. And then the way that we share this back with our app is simply by sharing it. So most PDF readers or any kind of PDF editor will have an option to share with another app. I'm using Adobe Reader, and so my option to share is at the top with the standard share icon with the 3 dots connected by a line. Great, and I want to share a copy. When I click share a copy, you can see that I have all of these apps that I can share it with, and our inspect app with the ATS logo is the first one that comes up, and I want to be sharing with that app. So I click share with that app. It will load up our inspection data, and then it will give us this confirmation modal that our edited PDF has been added. We go to our PDF forms, and sure enough, we see in our edited PDF forms, our electrical rough checklist.pdf is there. And so that checklist that's associated now has all of the auto-filled information, as well as your manual edits that you've added. Again, you can add none of these checklists if you want, or as many of them as you want, depending on the kind of inspection that you are submitting. Excellent. Okay, any questions about these editable PDF forms for now?
Rosie, can you show eventually at some point how to, where they would go to print?
So we've done the overview tab, our forms tab, and now I'll navigate to our files tab. So remember in the beginning when we were logging in and we had that loading message that said downloading inspection files. These are the inspection files that it was downloading. So these files aren't intended to be edited and shared with the app. They're not intended to be submitted. These are purely reference files for you to have for your reference. So it'll include things like floor plans or blueprints or any kind of necessary information that you need for the given inspection. Great, so you can see it just navigates like any other file system. We have our folders. You can navigate, cool, and then I have this checklist available for me to reference here. Great, does that make sense to everybody? Cool, I'm gonna assume that's yes. Amazing, okay, so we've gone through our files. We've added some PDF forms, we've added some information on our digital checklist, and we've added information on our dynamic fields. Now, we're going to go through and finalize and go to submit this inspection. So if we scroll down in this left-hand side of our inspection overview, we see we have this finalize button at the bottom, which is currently grayed out because in order to finalize and submit the inspection, we need to have all of these results filled out. So for example, I'll fill out all of these for all of the different fields. And I'll also fill out my total hours. So I'll set this to 1 hour and 30 minutes. Great. So once all of those fields have been filled out, we now have a button that says we can finalize our inspection. When we go to finalize it, we get, I don't know if you saw that, but we had a loading message that said getting data and then producing or generating PDF. Great. So, so now in this digital form review that you see here, this is all of the information that you've entered for your digital form, digital checklist, and all of the information that will be on the generated PDF. This is so you can preview it here, say that, yeah, this is cool, this is what I want to submit. And if not, you can go back to your inspection and edit or remove any data. So you can just see these fields are not editable. It's, again, just for you to preview the information that you've already added. Okay, so we see that these are the dynamic fields that we've added. And then these are just a preview of all of the digital checklist items that we've added. Okay, we see our notes. We see our notes with 2 images, and then our other 2 notes with no images. Amazing. Great. So I'm going to say finalize. We get a little checkbox on the menu item. And then the other thing that we have to finalize is our electrical rough checklist. So this is our editable PDF that we've attached. We also have to finalize that. You can see that once both items are finalized, we'll get a queue to submit the inspection. What I'm going to do here before submitting the inspection is demo something to you guys, which is a development feature that we added just for development to preview what it would look like if an inspection failed to submit because of a network conductivity error. So if you were out in the middle of nowhere and you had no internet connection, what if you wanted to submit an inspection and it failed? What would happen in that case? We'll just close this for now, and you can see at the top of our menu, I have this allow submission success toggle. Obviously, this will not be this won't be there in your app that you'll be receiving. This is just a developer option for us to be testing these things. So I've turned off allow submission success. So we are expecting this to fail when I try to submit it. Great. So I submit inspection. I get a confirmation. So once I submit this inspection, all of these PDFs that I have accessible, I won't be able to access them again. So if you need to print them or send them or do anything with them, you would want to be doing it at this finalized stage. But I think you guys are used to that in your current paradigm anyways. Okay, so I go to submit it. Great, and we get our fail to submit error as we are expecting. You can see that this inspection failed to submit, and because it's no longer pending, because it's been we've tried to submit it, it doesn't appear in my inspections list anymore. Where it will appear is my my list on the side. You see, if I open my menu, I have a failed submissions menu item. That is where that inspection will have gone. If I click on it, great. You can see it there. You can see the time that I tried to submit it and all of the other necessary information here. I'll leave that for now. I'll come back to it at the end and show you the process of resubmitting it once we turn back on our network connectivity. Great, okay. And now what I am going to do is, sorry, hold on 1 second, guys. Great, okay, so now I'm gonna show you guys what the flow would look like if you want to take over an inspection. So meaning perform an inspection that was not initially assigned to you. The way we've set this up is that you don't have to have an inspection explicitly assigned to you to be able to perform it. What will happen instead is you can perform it, and when you submit it, the information for the assignee will change to the current logged in user of the tablet that performed and submitted the inspection. So you can see that I untoggled that checkbox to show only inspections assigned to me. And I'm gonna take over this inspection at the very bottom that's currently assigned to George. I'm going to I for some reason really want to do this inspection. So I click on it to be able to perform it. Amazing. Okay. All of this is as we would expect. This is all the same, except when I navigate to my Files tab, instead of seeing that list of files that we saw before for that other inspection, we see this message: project files are currently not downloaded on this device. That is because this inspection wasn't assigned to me, it didn't download the files when I initially went to log in. If we did that for all of the inspections assigned today, it would take a really long time to log in, and it would just have a lot of unnecessary files on your device. So if you are taking over an inspection and you want to download these reference files, you will get this prompt to download now. And it will download any project files associated for this inspection from Ptrac. Amazing. They've downloaded, and we can access them just as we access the other kinds of files. Perfect.
Rosie, let me just interject, guys. This is where you would go if you needed to see.
I will. I'll submit this one. I'll just set the result in the hours, so we don't have to go through adding any data again. But then again, I'll set it to trigger a submission failure. So we will also go to the failed inspection list. Oh, sorry. Somebody trying to say something?
Yeah, Rosie, I just wanted to let the guys know that that files download button or just the files system, that's where you would go to look at previous inspection reports for inspections that were previously completed, just so you can clarify. And also what Rosie was saying is that when you log in, it's sort of like IDA, it's synchronizing. It's only downloading the files for the projects, for the addresses that were assigned to you when you logged in. So that's why it didn't download the files for the inspection that had been assigned to George, because Rosie's actually logged in as herself. So just wanted to clarify that. Go ahead, Rosie.
Yeah, sorry guys, my volume was way down. Sorry if I was talking over anybody when anybody was talking. Feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions. Okay, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna set my hours again for this guy to be able to finalize it. Again, it goes to generate my PDF, and we can see that we have no dynamic fields, no digital checklist items, no PDFs. So we say, yeah, that's cool. This inspection was easy. We finalize it, and we can go to submit it. So again, I'll just make sure that great. We have our submission triggered to fail. We submit it. We confirm, and then we get our fail to submit. Great. Okay. Now I'm gonna I'll show you guys what the process would look like for actually resubmitting these failed inspections. We have two of them here. I'll turn this toggle back on where we can allow submission success. And so you can either do these individually, or you can do a bulk. If you have a bunch of them, you can do a bulk submission. So I can select all, press this resubmit button, and confirm. Great. And then once our inspections submit, we'll see that they submitted successfully. And of course, they will disappear from our failed submissions list. Great. Any questions about that process? Amazing. Okay. The last thing that we wanted to go over with you guys, I believe, is oh, sorry, I meant to show you the generated PDF actually. Sorry. I'll go through the inspection routing, and then we can check if the generated PDFs have been actually uploaded to Ptrac, so we can preview them from there. So if you have routing privileges, we can go to the menu item that gives us to route inspections. Great, and this I'm pretty sure we've gone over this. I just want to make sure that everyone's all cool and up to date. So we can route inspections. You see at the top, as our inspection list has a default date for today, our route inspections has a default date to the next business day. So in this case, Monday, June 7th. Let's say that we want to select this guy in Driftwood. I select the column for routing, and I can choose any of these drop boxes. I can pick an assignee. I want to assign it to Ken, and I can optionally select a community. So if there's no community name listed, or we want to change the community name, we can set it here. So I'll set it to Amara. Great. You get a confirmation modal. We confirm, and it reloads the inspection table and reloads with the new data. You can see that before we had 3 inspections to show. Now we only have 2 inspections to show, and that's because we have this toggle on that says show only unassigned inspections. If we remove that toggle, we can see that amazingly, we have that inspection that we just assigned to Ken. We set the community to Amara, and now when Ken reloads his inspection list for Monday, he will see this inspection appear in his table. Great. Any questions about that?
I think silence is golden unless everybody's just totally confused.
Hey, Rosie.
Yeah.
We had a last-minute inspection come in for you back at 200 quarter horse. If you go back to your inspection list, you should be able to see that there. It's an ADA sidewalk inspection.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Cool. So the PDF that you generated but didn't preview should be in the project files for that inspection.
Oh, that's so amazing. Okay. I'll try reloading my inspection list. Yeah. Not yet, at least. Will, have you shared with the team what the generated PDF previews would look like, or would you like me to demonstrate that again now?
I think it'd be good for you to show them what those PDFs look like.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
And then also, Rosie, the frame, mechanical, electrical, plumbing that you just completed.
Yes.
With forms, I have that pulled up in my Ptrac. So whenever you're done, I can share my screen and show them that those files actually made it into Ptrac.
Oh, excellent. Do you have that generated PDF in that same screen, Will?
I haven't checked, but I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I'll enter some more data just so I can show you guys what the generated PDFs would look like. I'll fill out this foundation pre-pour. Just to fill out some fields. I'll fill these out really quickly. And I will add another image to show you guys what that scene would look like. Excellent. Okay, that's all the data I'll add for this one, just to show you guys what the generated PDF will look like. Great. So in our digital form review, you can see at the top right, we have this View PDF button. That's where you're going to want to go to view your generated PDF. Great. Okay, so this is what the cover page will look like. We'll have a title with our inspection date, the kind of inspection, and the ATS stamp. Our general information. So you can see that's taken from our inspection result is displayed there, so it's very obvious. Any kind of address information will appear here, and the inspector name, and the inspector signature as well. So this is another kind of Ptrac preference. That is a signature that I uploaded to my Ptrac preferences. If you have a signature, it will display in this box. If you haven't uploaded a signature, this box will just appear empty, and you'll just have to sign it when you print it out. Great. We have our dynamic fields displayed here, any of those checkboxes and inputs there. And then we have our deficiency summary. So this is just a quick overview where you can see the type, the category, and the deficiency just at an overview glance on the cover page of what kind of deficiencies are noted here. And then if you scroll down or go down to the actual the content pages, you can see that we have our notes and any images that we've included here for you to print out. So that's what the generated PDF will look like, with all of the information that you've submitted in your dynamic fields, and then also the digital checklist. Any questions or comments about that?
Can you show them where they would go to print this?
Yeah, sure. So it just depends on whatever PDF viewer that you're using. They're all a bit different, but they will all probably have some kind of menu option where you can just print. You see, if I scroll down to the bottom, I have that print button. I don't have any printers connected, so it will probably give me some kind of message to tell me to look for a printer. But if you have a printer connected, then your tablet will pick up on that.
And just so you know, guys, we are going to be coming up with an instruction manual, a user's manual. That's poor Seth Parsons' project. And we'll have lots of screenshots, and we'll give you lots of help on, FAQs. How do I do this? How do I do that? So it's not going to just be us giving you a tablet and say, go for it.
I would suggest a bunch of training videos.
We're considering that as well. Anything else to demo, Rosie?
That's it. That's the whole flow in a very brief nutshell.
Anybody got any questions or want to see something demoed over again before we turn it over to Shane? Is everybody asleep out there? Good Lord.
CT here, looks good. Great job, Rosie. Great job, everybody.
Yes, I'm here. I'm following along.
Okay, well, the fact that we're not getting a whole bunch of questions and comments is actually encouraging.
It's shock and awe, Will.
Do what?
It's shock and awe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when do we start this actual project, guys? Like November maybe, or December? I think that the team has done an incredible job with the kind of functionality that we've been looking for years. I'm very happy with it. Okay, so Rosie, if we're done with you, I think Shane, if I'm correct, is going to just show you that the PDFs that she generated for that frame MEP inspection are now actually in the IDA admin app. So that information, is there available for anyone in the office. And I believe, Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, when we do things through the Ptrac app, that information should be available on our website simultaneously. Is that correct, Justin?
That's correct. IDA data will still be a day behind, but the Ptrac data is real time.
Right. And 15 minutes after Rosie completed and submitted, well, clarify, 15 minutes after that inspection hit the Ptrac servers, the emails to the clients and or builders would have gone out. And at the same time, the invoice task for that inspection would show up in Lupita's list. So anyway, you want to show us that it's actually there in admin, Shane?
Yep, sure thing. Rosie, I'm taking over the screen.
Please do.
Cool. So here we are in Ptrac, and I'm looking at the residential project at 200 quarter horse, Driftwood, Texas. And here's the job right there, the frame mechanical rough, electrical rough plumbing top out inspection. We go to the file navigator right there, go into the job, and this looks like a PDF right there. I'm going to download that, and let's take a look what it looks like. Cool. If I remember correctly, this is pretty much exactly what Rosie entered in the inspection. So all the statuses, signature, all the deficiencies, dynamic fields are present, and there's the Rosie's beautiful windowsill. So that is in Ptrac within a few seconds after submitting it successfully.
Can you go back and do that again, Shane, and go a little bit slower and show them the file menu so we can go over the structure of it?
Yep, absolutely. So there's a couple of ways to get to it. From the project menu, you can either select the file, the folder icon from the job, or at the project level up at the top there, but it doesn't matter, it's the same icon. So we click on that, and it brings us right to the job. So any files associated with this particular job are going to be in this folder. So we're going to navigate into, and what we have now is the generated PDF, and I believe this is the edited PDF, if I'm not mistaken, but we can check that too. So both the PDFs that Rosie worked with in that inspection are currently present. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, the pass Rosie done earlier today.
Can you also show them how that looks at the project root folder level?
Yeah, exactly. I will do that. So at the project root level, instead of seeing jobs, we see the different departments. Since we only have one department, which is inspections right now, we click on that, and then we see all the different jobs there. We click on this job, and then this is the task associated with it, and then those are the two PDFs that we saw previously. So you just have to drill down a couple more levels if you start at the project level.
The reason I wanted him to show you that, guys, is because when we get plan review and structural back involved in Ptrac, and they start uploading frame or foundation and windbrace designs and plan review documents, in order to get to them, you'll have to, well, they'll be automatically loaded on your tablet for you. But for those of you who are going to be using this admin app for other reasons, to get to them, that's where you would have to go. But anyway, we'll deal with all that later. Just so whatever files are in this project, plan review, structural, other inspections, they will all be uploaded to your tab or downloaded on your tablet for your projects for that day.
Cool. I think that was pretty much all you wanted me to demo, Will?
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks, Shane.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, so no questions, no comments. Everybody likes it.
Yeah, I got one question. Okay, for an example, just say you're doing an inspection that just requires the generic one form. We're not doing the checklist or anything, just a generic form. Can you just kind of go through that real quick and just kind of pretend like you're going to perform an inspection on the generic form?
Well, Dondi, that one editable PDF that she did, I forgot what inspection type that was.
Foundation.
A foundation, right? It's the same thing. I mean, it's just going to pull up the generic. I just didn't associate the generic form with that inspection type, or if I did, she just didn't choose it. But it all works the same way. It's just an editable PDF.
I got you. Well, I thought she on the other one there was a checklist. Maybe I misread it or watched it.
Yeah, so this is just staging, and I haven't taken the time it takes to associate every type of inspection form with every type of inspection, because that's going to take me probably 2 days. So yeah, but it all works the same way.
Gotcha.
The generic form will be associated with virtually everything.
Okay.
And Dondi, there will be a generic digital form and a generic PDF form as well.
Gotcha.
Well, again, I guess silence is golden.
Do I did one last thing. I saw your clapping icon there, CT. Hey, I guess CT. When I joined the meeting, I joined a little earlier because it notified me that Will was up. When you talk about going live, it's pretty much just with Michael Borden, for the time being. I guess our group will be at a later time.
Yeah, we're gonna kick the tires around with Michael next week and the following weeks, and also in the following weeks, we'll try to get tablets into the hands of several of you on here, inspectors, and let y'all start kicking the tires. In all honesty, I'm kind of glad Gabe's not on this call. We probably won't go live for the entire code inspections department until at the beginning of August, I'm thinking at the earliest.
Hey, Will, I already have a tablet that's my own personal. It is designed to be connected to Verizon. I just need to make sure it's adequate for what you're doing. So.
Yeah, Rosie and I are actually kind of working on that, the specs. Different Android tablets are exhibiting different types of behavior in the app. So we have to coordinate and make sure that the tablet versions we're getting are compatible with our app. And so anyway, we're going to try to keep them all the same.
Okay. Well, it's a satellite, or I think that's what it is. Whatever the ones you've been looking at or you talked about previously. I just don't know which version it is. And I don't have it on my desk right now.
Okay, well, if nobody's got anything else, I guess we can call it a day.
Thank you, everybody, for spending time to be on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I just want to say it looks great, guys. You're doing tremendous.
I agree. Looks fantastic.
Yes. All right. Well, yes. Everybody have a good day and a good weekend.
Thanks, everybody.